First order of business would be the minutes from the May 19th meeting. I sent out a correction this morning on page 665, dealing with the first reading of the budget ordinance. All 5 magistrates get that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Were there any other corrections or changes?
None noted.
Entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Hold on just a minute, Judge.
Okay.
I had something. I think on the second page, where it says on Potter Shop Loop, they have District 3, it should be District 2.
Well, you should have left it at 3 and charged it to his account.
I know how I'm too honest.
On what page at the top of the page are you on?
Under Road Department.
It's on page 662, Judge.
662.
Yeah, 662. On the motion by me, second by Keith. Approve extra funds 2019 in District 3. Spend on blacktopping on Potter Shop. So Potter Shop is District 2.
Got that, Jeanette?
Yes.
I didn't even catch that, Eric.
That's Gary.
Gary.
Yeah, don't call it.
Don't confuse us, please.
That's fighting words.
With those corrections, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and corrections.
Motion by Eric. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Second by Jeff. Further discussion? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. Next will be your bills list and your additional bills.
I noticed on the jail, we had a lot of additional medical, and we had some medical on here. Isn't that a lot of medical? We've only got 70-some people down there now.
Well, first place, these bills sometimes can be 30 days old, Keith. Into the billing process. The one on the main bills list is the actually prescriptions and medicines. It's different than the doctor or nurse practitioner coming in. It's a different bill.
Okay,
Right.
so
Right, treasurer?
all that together is over $11,000.
Yes.
That for 1 month, or is it 2? Or
But now your prescriptions can be, not prescriptions, but your medicines can be a 2 or 3 month supply. Like aspirins, and I only use that as an example.
I don't ever remember it being that high, Judge. It seems like to me that is escalating.
it is.
I'll get you a rundown on it. We're waiting to June 30th to give you an analysis on, because we can't compare 1 month to another month till you have a cumulative. Isn't that right, Rhonda? We talked about that?
Yeah, the pharmacy bill average is around $5,000, $5,500 per month.
That's what I was
So-
thinking.
I don't get a detail on that. I just get that statement, but that's the average per month. There's some months it's been 7,000. So to me, that one was right in line. It didn't ring any bells with me.
Me neither.
I don't know. It just seems like to me here lately that is escalating, and we got less population at the jail, and I don't know.
I'll give you a comparison on it when we get through here today.
All right, maybe if you can go a year ago, what we had, and then what we got today, so I can. If we had 120 prisoners a year ago, we've only got 80 right now. So, what the difference is?
If you had 80 right now and you had 160 last year, it doesn't necessarily mean you go cut it in half. It depends on the usage and what's being used and other factors.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. It should be down some. And again, on June 30th, I'll give it a review. I can't do just 1 month at a time because these bills come in kind of late.
And we do get a reimbursement from the state. Part of that state money is to reimburse some of the medical expenses on the state prisoners.
Does that reimbursement go back in the general fund or in the jail?
It's in the jail.
It's the top of the jail budget process. There's about several line items there for revenue. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple, Judge.
Okay.
On the first page, the face mask, that's all reimbursed as well, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll be bringing that up in just a minute. Yeah, face mask, cleaner, and so forth.
Okay, and then just one more quick thing. On the second page, the Ethel Smith Walter Hall hot and cold mix. Is that the total? What is that?
That's chip seal.
Oh, it's chip seal.
What wasn't it, Brad?
Excuse me, what was the question again?
Well, Ethel Smith Road. Some of that was chip seal, wasn't it?
Yes.
Some of it was asphalt patch, some of it was chip seal, depends
Yeah.
on how we have to fix them sometimes.
It depends on what
Sometimes
section it was in.
Okay. I didn't know that
Sometimes you
was a separate line item. I didn't know that y'all. I thought that we. It all comes out of that separate budget than the blacktop money, anyway. Is that correct?
Comes out of LGEA money.
I know where you're going.
Just asking. I'm just trying to get educated, guys. That's it. That's all. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented and the additional bills.
Thank you.
I
No
second.
no transfers, are there?
I didn't see any transfer.
No transfers.
Not this time.
Yeah, okay. Motion's been made by Keith. There's a second.
I second.
Second by Bernard Ice. Further discussion? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. We'll move on to the materials bids for 2021. Brad, you want to go through those?
Sure. You guys should have received a summary. I always give you a summary page of what you had
Looks
or what
like
was
something
submitted.
like that. You see it or not?
Of course, everybody's interest is always Mago. They actually bid it 2 ways this year, gentlemen. What they did was, we always in the past have allowed them what they call a cost adjustment, meaning as oil goes up and down, the price of the asphalt goes up and down. This year, they actually bid it 2 ways. A fixed price, meaning we can lock it in, which I'll use an example. Asphalt surface was $54.50 a ton this year. Where if you do the cost adjustment, they'll start at $57.30, and as the year goes along and oil goes up and down, that price will fluctuate. So actually, the cost of asphalt's down about 13%, roughly, Dean. Is that right? Roughly in
I
that
think it
ballpark.
was, yeah.
Very encouraging. You know, we can get some more stuff done this year with what little bit of money we got. So, and then you go through all the everything. We got rock, who Cedar Creek Quarries was the only bid on it. We did not bid salt this year from you guys' direction. The barn is way more than full. Motor fuel oils, DNR was the low bid on it for 3.5 cents above rack price. Road oils, same place we always get it. Corrugated metal pipe. So Hayes Pipe Supply was our low apparent bidder on that. Typically we have contact. These guys were like 1 penny less on the pipe, on the smaller pipe that is. Now this year actually Guy Mauser down in New Haven bid as well. On larger pipe, when you get up to 36 to 48 inches or larger, he's a little cheaper than the rest of the guys. So what I'd want to do on that particular item is give me the ability, on the bids, I will go with low bidder on whatever it is. But if I can need a bigger pipe, Guy was the lower one, and if he can supply it, let's use it. We'll use our local guy. But then the dual wall polyurethane pipe, that's Hayes Pipe Supply as well. So what I would need is a motion from you guys to approve the all apparent low bidders with the option on the corrugated metal pipe to use suppliers that met the low bid criteria based on the size of the pipe. Is that okay? I know that's kind of complicated, but that gives me an option to buy locally on the bigger pipe if he has it.
Okay, Brad, the question on that, in regards to, will they honor that the entire year?
Well, it has to be. And if he
Okay.
doesn't honor it,
We'll
then
make sure that we're all on the same page on that.
right. But when they bid this price, it's locked in for the pipe.
And we've used a lot of pipe the last year and a half.
Correct. And that's a function, guys. You all know that. The more we pave, the more we install culverts. So this year may be a little different than past because the
It better
pavement-
be. It better be.
I probably should stop talking.
I would recommend the court to go with all the low bids here presented by Brad.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Jeff. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
I'll second.
Keith was second, the one I heard, so
Okay.
now any discussion?
Yeah, I got a question. So if Guy is cheaper on the larger culverts, how much of a discrepancy was he on the other?
Quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
Really?
Here, I'll give you an example. Let me get to where it is.
Because you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I know where you're going, and that's okay. I've talked to Keith about it. He knows where we stand on this. For instance, we use a lot of 15-inch pipe.
I got you.
Where Guy Mauser was $13.50 a foot. The supplier through Hayes Supply
I don't see
is
the
$12.30.
I don't really see the 15-inch on this material.
You
bid.
don't, because I just give you a summary.
Okay.
I'll say an 18-inch. I'll go an
Okay.
18-inch for you.
Oh, there's so
you'll
many
see
different
that.
sizes.
Yeah. Like Guy's $16.50. Where this guy, the low bidder, is $15.38. So when you go percentage wise, I mean, Eric, you got to realize when we buy pipe, we buy $10,000-$15,000 at a time. So when you start getting into 7, 8, 10% difference, which is about what that would be roughly, I'm just going off the top of my head. You know, I'd be cautious with that, but that's whatever the pleasure of the court.
Well, the motion's been made. Is there a second?
There was a second.
Yeah.
Who seconded?
Keith seconded it. Any further discussion? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion carries. Okay. Got that, Brad?
Yes, and I'm going to go silent.
Next would be, let's see, I put too many papers together here. For the last year, Logan's been, and Ronnie at the building codes has been after me to get some software upgrades in order for them to be out in the field and input out in the field. And let me just say this, the building codes department back there has had a real good year financially. They're pulling their weight. And it would be a good time to make that upgrade, especially for the next 6 to 10 months. It's kind of crowded back there in the back anyway. If you've ever been back there, everybody know what I'm talking about. It would be good to get some of the guys out of the office a little more, where they could still do the input, and the girls can input as well, and they can be out in the field, sort of like a policeman have a computer in their vehicle to do things. And that cost is $9,400. Everybody had a chance to review that? Y'all silent on me.
Sound like a good idea to me.
Entertain a motion to approve the Franklin Information Systems. That's a software company we use for that, all that back there anyway. This is just an upgrade.
I make a motion, accept it.
Motion by Bernard Ice. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jeff Lear. Further discussion? All
How much
approved?
how
I'm
much
sorry.
you say it was, Judge?
$9,400. That's a year ago price too. I've been holding that invoice or that quote for a year.
Are they still going to honor it?
Yes. Any other questions? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry.
Hey, Dean, before you get too far along, on that materials bid on Mago, are we using the fixed price? We need to clarify that.
Yeah, we need to clarify that probably. I would
As a
recommend the fixed price, guys. You want to, let me get a new motion on that part of it, okay?
Correct. I agree 100%.
I would recommend the fixed price on that.
I'll make a motion to accept the fixed price.
Thanks, Jeff. Is there a second to Jeff's motion?
I'll second that.
Second by Gary. Any further discussion? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? And motion will carry. Now,
Thanks, Dave.
guys, if that oil goes down to a nickel a barrel, we'll be shooting ourselves in the toe, won't we?
We'll
But I
be
think
all
we're safe. I think we know where we are, and then we can plan. And actually, you're going to get quite a bit more blacktop out of the deal for your districts.
Yeah.
It's more significant than you think it is. Okay. So we did the building codes. I'm going to pass on number 3 right now. Don't let me forget to come back to number 3 on the agenda, the CARES Act. The next would be the Assessment Appeals Board appointment. You guys get a copy of an order appointing David Davis to the Assessment Appeals Board. He has served on that board before, and Barbara said he did a good job. And he has to set off for a while, and she gave me a list of names, and he has agreed to continue to re-serve again.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Jeff Lear. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Keith. Discussion? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? The motion will carry. Okay, road department report. That's Brad. Lee,
Okay.
Lee's out today.
Yep, I'll carry the weight. So Mago did pave Coon Hollow, Stringtown, and a portion of Walter Hall from D Head back towards New Hope.
All in District 1. All in District 1.
Potter Shop Loop got done as well. When I say
District
Potter
two.
Shop Loop, guys, we only, the part of the counties is actually the closest to town up to the little past the bridge. So they got that done. Jeff, I've sent the notice to proceed to the contractor on Whiteside. So he indicates that he'll be starting that project sometime in June. We did finish chip sealing Ethel Smith and Big Lick Hollow. Today we got a crew on Tom Greer patching in Garrison Road. We're trying to get some of these patches in while the weather's nice. We're just a little short on help, so we're doing the best we can there. Patched Avery Loop, Gary, out there for you guys. And Hutchins Court, Keith, if you've been back there, we had to patch some of it as well. Had some soft spots come up in it. Did some work out on Samuels Church Road, some ditching, Pinehurst subdivision ditching. Had a storm kind of go through Egan Lane, which was odd. Blew 7 or 8 trees down. We had to clean that up last week.
It's in Eric's district, guys.
Yep. Then we did replace driveway culvert on Fogle and clean ditches down there. You guys notice my theme. We're in ditch mode. That is something we can do and not spend a lot of money. It's directed by somebody. And then as far as
Just for a month or two.
Just for a month or two. As far as mowing, we're through everybody's district. We're in District 4. We probably have about 7 days left to complete District 4, and that'll be the first round, and then we'll start all back over again. So that's where we're at. We are not running the boom mower at this point in time. We do not have help for it. We're just short. So, and that's the report.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Brad?
I got one statement on the Potter Shop Loop, Brad. I rode down there and checked that out, and they did a great job. It was a whole lot better. Have you seen?
Yeah, they tied into those bridges really well.
They
That was
did.
actually a different crew than the normal crew. They did a good job though.
They did a great job. Thanks.
So, Brad, so you're liking someone now, is that correct? You missed a guy from your crew?
So we have one transfer out to the landfill where they had an opening, and in order to help with some funding issues, we haven't replaced them yet. And then we got another guy out with an injury. Well, he's got a knee replacement, and so he's going to be out for a while.
Nice.
So we're just kind of limping along until we get back up healthy for one, but that'll be 6 to 8 weeks. And then, the other guys, just, I'll let the judge answer on that one.
Well,
It's called survival mode,
Correct.
but they're still getting a lot of things done.
oh yeah, they do a good job. I appreciate them.
So what you all see is when we patch and when we chip seal, it takes most of the crew. So what we end up doing is going down to one crew, and then I'll have 2 guys left over from the other crew, and they will do potholes, signs, that type of thing. So you don't see as much productivity, but we're doing all right. I mean, this time of year, what you guys are going to get complaints on are tree limbs.
Hey, let me ask you something real quick, Brad. It's speaking of those signs. Are you having a rash of people shooting our signs?
Yes, we are.
Is it in this area mostly?
No, you're not special.
I have heard that. They shot one of my street lights out. I'm wondering what's going on. And you know, I mean, they're shooting some of these signs over here with some pretty heavy rounds. You know, that's a dangerous situation.
It is, and we've discussed putting cameras up. We've got an issue down on Tom Greer that I think we're going to have to do something like that. I don't know. I don't know how to stop it, guys.
Eric, I've noticed over the last 25 years or so, those things happen in cycles for some reason.
Hmm.
You can't catch them.
Right.
Can't catch them.
Right.
Just keep reporting if you see them, Eric.
Okay.
Just let us know.
Okay, move on to John and garbage, landfill solid waste report.
Gary had asked last time, and we're getting several phone calls about recycling, about when we're going to start that back up. I talked to Guthrie Opportunity Center yesterday, and they're hopefully going to get started back up mid to late June. So once they get started back up, then we'll start doing door-to-door pickup again. But we'll let everybody know. We'll get out in the paper, and we'll let you guys know that hopefully next fiscal court meeting when we get that started up. But other than that, just normal operations.
Let me just say this, I do plan to bring the fiscal court at our next meeting, which hopefully will all be in one body here, and discuss the 50-cent a month increase in the garbage rates, as I've told you previously in the budgeting process. But just be aware of that. I'll get that information to you. We'll send something out early next week to get you where you get in the thinking mode on it. And then if you have any questions, we can deal with that.
John, thank you for checking on that. I have at least one call every day on the recycling. If it's not late June, I think we need an alternative. You know, put the containers back out or something, because these people want to get rid of recycling. I know you say reuse, but there's a lot of people don't like to do that. So we need to address this problem somewhere, including my wife.
That's the one I was thinking about every day. You said every day.
I got a garage full. Thank you.
Okay.
Isn't the problem that China's not accepting our stuff anymore? Is that where the bottleneck is?
Well, the Guthrie Opportunity is shut down. So basically, the people that are working there, and I talked about that, they're high risk with the virus going around, so they're still shut down. They're kind of waiting on the last go ahead from the governor to get going. And we take a lot of our recyclables, not all, but take a lot of our recyclables there. So that's kind of what we're waiting for them to get started back up.
So if they don't start back up, could we possibly put those containers back out or do something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can look at other options.
Okay.
So how's that door-to-door pickup service work?
Fine in our subdivision. Thank you.
Eric, let me go back in history a little bit. We started with what we started with 7 or 8 years ago or better, a pilot project in subdivisions only. Well, it never grew because the participation is minimum. Participation is less than, what, 700 or 800 households, John?
It's around 600 out of
600 out of 11,500 or so.
Yeah.
And so the participation was not real well, and the courts over the years didn't want to spend the money if people weren't going to participate. So we never got to expand it.
Couldn't you have an option on the recycle pickup for people in order to pay a little bit more for pickup for that? If they requested it?
Depends, Gary. You got to be careful with that. It's one thing to pick recycling up in Woodlawn subdivision than it is on Coon Hollow. I'll use that for example.
Right.
You know, that price is not equitable what you'd have to pay at Coon Hollow compared to Woodlawn. You could do something in subdivisions. I just don't know how much participation you would get, to be honest with you. Everybody likes it when it's free.
Yeah, you could do a cost analyst and then divide it amongst, average it out for, that far away, I don't know what the answer is, but that's got to be an answer that we can do.
We're open for ideas
I'll work
all the time on recycling.
Okay.
Don't we lose money on recycling most times, Judge?
We haven't made a penny yet.
Well, why would it expand it? We're not making money.
Well, here's the deal on it. It's more of an educational component for the next generation. That's why your community leaders in big cities have approached it, even though it's always a negative cash flow.
Less that goes in landfills, your landfill lasts longer.
Even calculating that, it doesn't pay for it.
No,
It does.
exactly. Yeah, we've done that, haven't we, Jeff?
If you take a look at it, the amount of recyclables we pick up only saves us about 1 or 2 garbage trucks a year. And by 7 o'clock on January 1st, we've already brought that much garbage in. So that's very minimal what comes in, what we pick up.
When he says garbage trucks, he means
The weight of.
the weight of what a garbage truck picks up in a day.
How much does a garbage truck weigh full, Brad, John?
Around 12,000, 12, 13,000, or 12 tons, rather, 12 tons
Of garbage.
About
of garbage.
24,000 pounds.
And then the
Yeah.
truck is another, what, 4 ton?
Oh, no.
No.
Altogether, that truck will weigh 60,000 pounds.
Yeah.
60?
Around 36,000 pounds for the empty weight.
He's bringing it back to asphalt, isn't he? I can tell it. I can feel it.
Coming back around.
Time to move on, guys.
I'm in thinking mode.
We're open for suggestions. If you guys want to float an extra increase on the garbage bills for that, Gary, that's an option.
No.
Well, just for the ones that want it, not for everyone. I mean, some people want to recycle, some people don't.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to check it out.
You have to.
I'm not for raising the rates for everyone.
Okay.
I'm open to
I was
suggestions.
messing with you a little bit there, too.
I know you were. You like to do that, don't you?
Well, you fire it back pretty good. EMS report.
Okay, under the emergency services report for this meeting, first of all, I'll give an update on the COVID-19 cases in Nelson County as of last night. We have no new cases last night. We have confirmed cases to date of 42. 1 is hospitalized, 5 are in home isolation. We have 35 recovered and 1 death. Our Ppe Supplies update, as of right now in inventory, we have about 24 days based on our burn rate for emergency responders and healthcare workers. We've received some gowns, more masks and face shields since our last meeting. Through the initiative from the city county, masks for the businesses and the hand sanitizer, to date we have distributed 45,700 masks to the businesses and 712 gallons of hand sanitizer. That went out to 142 businesses so far. That doesn't include what we did from March till the end of April through Department of Public Health and Nelson County Emergency Management and getting masks and hand sanitizer. So when you add it all together, totally for the county, we've distributed 158,135 masks and 1,035 gallons of hand sanitizer. That went to essential businesses in the beginning and healthcare workers, first responders. I want to give a little shout out to Beam Centauri. They contacted us Friday and asked us how we were doing on our hand sanitizer quantities. And we pretty much marched through everything we had in inventory. So we'll pick up another 291 gallons of hand sanitizer today from Beams. We appreciate their continued support. Under EMS, monthly call report I'll have ready for the next court meeting. Being today is the 2nd, didn't really have time to get all our runs in. I need to report to the court that 2 weeks ago Friday, after the court meeting, that we had a 2012 Ford E350 on a call transfer from Flagey to Louisville, somewhere around Shepherdsville, a little north of Shepherdsville. The engine failed in that truck. We had to transfer the patient over to Bullitt County to complete the call. Got that truck towed back to American Tire. Had a rod through the block. So that engine was completely shot, and we had a quote of $7,788 to replace that engine. It's a gas engine. I recommended to the judge, this truck had 207,000 miles on it, and I recommended to the judge that we replace that engine. So we're working on doing that. It's a pretty good truck, good solid truck. Gas engine was probably at the end of its life anyway at 207,000 miles.
I think I notified the court magistrates on that. Did you get one of those notices?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure because I do things and I forget.
Is that a new motor, Joe?
Sir?
Is that a new motor? New
That's
rebuild?
reman motor with 50,000 mile, 1 year warranty.
Okay.
Was that a V10?
Yes. Last item I have for the court, staff members approached me and we took the initiative to purchase some lime green or teal green t-shirts and have the logo put on them. The staff are wearing them on occasion during their shift to honor our fellow Kentuckians that have died from COVID-19, just show our support. The t-shirts were purchased with private donation money, so I've allowed them to pick a day a week when they can get together and decide to wear those shirts. It'd be appropriate to do so. That would be my report.
Thank you, Joe. Great job, you and Eva.
Great job.
And the gang.
Yeah, the whole gang.
Next would be a jail report. Buck, are you there? I see your name there. Can you unmute yourself and give us a report? There he is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, this morning we have a total of 85 inmates, 54 are state, 31 are county, 21 are here for circuit court, and 10 for district court, 77 male inmates and 8 females.
I saw, Buck, where the governor's opened up a new prison for state inmates, about 650 beds. Will that impact you, you think?
I say probably not.
I wouldn't think so.
Where's it at, Judge?
You know, I can't remember where exactly it was. Buck, you remember?
Wheelwright.
Otter Creek.
Wasn't it Wheelwright,
Otter
Dean?
Creek.
There's so many little creeks and but I did not recognize the name. Let's put it that way.
It's in Eastern Kentucky, and they changed the name of it.
Okay, thanks, Raymond. But anybody have any questions for Buck? Okay, we'll move on then to recreation report. Bryce.
So Little League Baseball and softball canceled their spring season last week. So we continue to work with other organizations and leagues on how we're going to move forward and return. Other than that, basic operations.
Well, Bryce, you gave me some information. You and I will sit down and talk about that. And once they get their details on how they want to approach June the 15th, you can start doing some things at the park, I understand, by the governor's orders. We got to do it safely and make sure that the leagues understand what's required. I can't see it being an advantage this late in the season doing much. You had mentioned maybe some practices and so forth.
Yeah.
But we'll sit down and talk about that.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions for Bryce? Okay, we'll move on then. Under the old and new business, we have a tourism budget. Samantha's here today. Samantha, I'm sorry I should have called on you earlier, but I wanted to let you be entertained a little bit this morning with a court meeting. Samantha, I emailed you guys a copy of their proposed budget on the tourism side. It's probably a little later than usual because of the virus and so forth. But it looks like to me you're cutting your revenue is going to be down about what, 40-50% maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, we have cut expenses by over $332,000, which was a little hard to swallow, but something that we needed to do more for a precautionary state. April receipts came in at 85% down from last year for room tax and 43% down for restaurant tax. So restaurant was a little better than we had anticipated. Better, not good, but better than what we had anticipated for the current situation. But if you'll look at your paper, in the message part of the email that I sent you, it gives a rundown of the percentages that we decreased from last year. And basically, it's just a conservative estimate. As everybody knows, it's just one of those things. This is an unknown. I think we did pretty good based on some of the numbers that we're getting in. So I think we'll be good.
Anybody have any questions? I thought Samantha, you did a good job of trying to put the numbers together based on the unknown. Obviously, as you move into the budget, you might have to make those adjustments again, but this is an unusual year for you guys because it's all based on the room tax and the tax on food. Yes, the fast foods continue to be busy, but there are other restaurants, as you can see, they're important to that revenue stream. Is probably more important than we all realize, to be honest with you. So,
I have one thing to say. I think she did a great job on the budget also. However, the biggest cut, it looks like to me, is in advertising. And that's a very big concern because if we can't get the word out, we can't get the people into this thing. So I think that's a major concern.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It absolutely is a major concern, and it's something we cut everywhere, but that was actually where the most money came. You know, we used the most money. Here's what we think. We think that we were a little overly conservative on certain numbers for restaurant taxes for the income. So we think that we're going to have a little bit more in the budget for marketing. We just couldn't budget that because we just don't know.
Right.
But any additional money that we have, will go to that budget. That's where the money will go.
I think it's time, people are wanting to travel a little bit more to smaller areas like Barbertown, Nelson County. And I think, the word out that we are open, could help a whole lot. So I just.
This past weekend, Gary, I did see a bigger influx of people like you're talking about.
Me too. Yeah.
But you go to a restaurant, you can get seated because of the seating capacities at this point, because that will ramp up as the year goes on unless we have a major spike.
Unfortunately, after church Sunday, we went 3 different restaurants. They were not taking inside seating.
Yeah, they just what I've been told by a couple of the restaurants locally that they just can't make it on a third.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, the honest concern is, with this reopening, and this, according to the health experts, this disease is still rampant. It's still.
Yeah.
Sure it is.
The concern for me is getting that spike and these businesses having to shut back down. So I think that people should keep in mind to exercise the CDC precautions about reopening. I mean, my wife knows all about it. She's got her shop open up, and it's it's pretty stringent rules. But Samantha, let me ask you something just real quick. When you does the Bourbon Festival, does it factor into your when you do your budget? Is that a big portion of that?
No, the Bourbon Festival is a completely separate entity than tourism. I serve on the Bourbon Festival board, but that's about as far as it goes.
I mean, I know it's in September. Have there been any discussions about, I'm sure.
Yeah, a lot of discussions, a lot. And I just was on one yesterday, was our board meeting. And really, I think they're just trying to buy as much time as they possibly can to figure out what the best route is to do.
Yeah.
So I think they're being smart and just kind of taking it day by day. As we know, it changes day by day.
Sure. Sure.
week by week, you know.
Yeah, it's touch and go. I'm sure it was tough to develop that budget, trying to factor all that kind of stuff in. So I appreciate the work you did.
For the magistrate's viewpoint here, I would entertain a motion to approve their budget if everybody's got their questions answered.
I make the motion.
Thank you, Bernard. Is there a second?
I'll second
Second
that.
it.
Second by Eric. Any further discussion? All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? The motion will carry. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you. I just want to say one thing while I got you. We have National Bourbon Day coming up the 12th and the 13th, and it's online. So since we couldn't do it in person, check it out online, support your distilleries. They're the people who are definitely holding us up right now.
Absolutely.
Well, thank God for those jobs. Okay, tourism budget, voting. We will have one more meeting between now and the election, which is June 23rd. I understand Eric just said he got his postcard yesterday. Right, Bernard? Right, Eric? Yeah, you got your postcard. I actually went online. I got to tell you this story. I went online and made an application for a absentee ballot. And if Dean Watts can do it, everybody can do it. I assure you of that. And so I did that yesterday. So I'll be waiting for that to come. I was worried my postcard wasn't going to come, but Jeanette said she'll have an update for us our next court meeting with a whole lot more details. June 16th is our next court meeting. I want to go in a little bit of just a little bit of time today now on the CARES Act. You have a resolution that I sent you guys, and that resolution authorizes the county judge to apply for a reimbursement for the monies we've spent on the COVID-19 pandemic since the 1st of March. And by the way, that money has to run till about December 31st, so it's good for the whole year. The governor has allocated $1,575,000 to Nelson County for those causes. The city of Bardstown's got a pot of money, a pretty good sized pot of money. I don't know what the formula was, how they came about with that, but I'll let the mayor tell his council what they received. I think he's at their meeting tonight as well. Out of that money, the mayor and I discussed and want to get your all's thoughts on this about taking about $150,000 of that money out of the city and $150,000 out of the county money to help some of the small businesses again. You know, even though a lot of people have opened back up, the restaurants and beauty shops and so forth have not been able to get full scale ahead. And so we think that another grant cycle using this CARES Act money, which by the way, the CARES Act money allows you to do these things, but it does not allow you to recover any lost income. Everybody follow me on that? It's say, for instance, if like the room tax is down for the tourism, or say our occupational tax would be, if it was down, can't use it for that either. Even though our occupational is going to come out okay, we just lost a little bit of growth maybe, but our budget wise will be okay. Everybody got any questions? Got any comments on that?
So previously the city of Bardstown came out with that sum of money for small businesses. County residents can apply. County businesses.
They did that. They did that on their own, without the CARES Act money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now we want to take the CARES Act money. The mayor and I discussed this to where we can put say $300,000 total together, and this is coming from the federal government, and make some more allotments to small business people.
Is that? I'm sure that'll be reflected with tag. They'll be claiming that next year. I'm sure that they'll have to claim.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'd say so.
Yeah.
But there are some small businesses out there that are I think they got $2,000 maximum from the city. Was that right? Do you guys remember that number? I think it was, wasn't it, Rhonda?
Yes.
Yeah.
What number?
We are trying to get some clarification on the CARES Act money. Again, it cannot be used for, currently it cannot be used for budgeted expenses that you have in your budget. You understand what I'm saying? But there's a good chance that the feds are going to change that a little bit, and we're waiting for the Senator McConnell's office and Department of Local Government to get their heads together on that, make a determination, because we may be able to use that for some of the expenses. For instance, we know we can use it, Raymond, for the overtime that our guys put in on the guarding that fella. That was about $16,000, wasn't it, for 2 weeks?
Wow.
I believe that we, between the two cases, we've used about $24,000 on overtime.
Yeah. And of course, did that, I have not seen that. No, you just verbally told me, but did that include the benefit package as well?
I believe so.
I think it did, yeah. But we'll confirm all that. So that is an eligible expense. If you guys approve this resolution today, that's an eligible expense that we can ask for reimbursement for.
If I'm not mistaken, we utilize the same quotes as the federal overtime that we use for the riding ticket citations for no seatbelt or speeding. We use the same format.
And Judge, I believe also there's a portion of that money to go for first responders EMS reimbursement.
That has not been clarified, Joe. And we've got verbal on some of that stuff, but we want it all in writing, because we don't want them to come back a year from now and want their money back.
Are you needing a motion on this, Judge?
I need a motion on the resolution.
Can I ask a question first?
Yeah, sure. That's why I want some discussion here.
All right, what about the city of New Haven? What about the city of Bloomfield?
All city, I understand if a city of a certain size, I know Bardstown got something. I don't know if Bloomfield and New Haven got any or not.
Well, out of this 150,000, you're saying the city's going to get, and then the county's 150,000. So what about our two cities?
Well, they could apply. Yes, they're out in the county. They could apply for it.
Judge, I'd suggest we pass this resolution and get some more clarification on how it can be allocated before we discuss.
I understand
what we're doing with it.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. Yeah, because it's all brand new.
I make a motion to approve the resolution.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Second by Gary. Jeanette, that was Jeff first, and second by Gary. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry. What about if we got the budget committee together to talk about, what about if I put an outline together for you guys to look at, and then we can mark it up as a whole unit, all 6 of us, okay, in our next court meeting?
Sounds good.
And we are waiting for written clarification too. Because the 1.5 million sounds like a lot of money.
That ain't much.
But
Wouldn't it be better to get the budget committee together and go through it and then bring it back to the fiscal court? That way we would not, 5 of us wouldn't be jumping in. We'd have a proposal.
we could. We'll see.
I believe that'd be best, and then we can work from there.
The budget committee?
Yeah.
Okay, that's no problem. The budget committee, I think, is Gary and Jeff. Is that right, guys? I'm just going off the top of my head.
Yes.
I try to not meet with you too many times a year.
Feelings mutual.
But so a resolution has been passed, Jeanette, Jeanette, we're still trying to determine if any of that can be used for election expense as well. So when you read the feds, what the feds have put out, it is very open-ended and matter of interpretation. And the 8 of us judges in our Lincoln Trail district got together the other day by Zoom, and we discussed getting some clarifications from the Department of Local Government. And we're right in the middle of doing that now as we speak. So hopefully by next court meeting, we'll have something in writing. Okay. Anybody have any questions, any further questions about the CARES Act money? Only place that I could see that Nelson County is going to, fiscal court's going to be down on revenue this year is not a result of something that we can control. Is as a result of the gas tax money, and we we hope that somewhere along the line that the state gets some benefit from some new money later on in the August, September area to help the counties and state on their loss of revenue on the gas tax. But that's still to be seen. Any other business before the court today?
Dean, just let everybody know we started work on the courthouse,
Yeah.
on the repairs to the brick and whatnot. Hopefully a couple weeks that'll be done. He didn't give me a time frame, actually.
Yeah, the ironic part was, we had the demonstrations this past weekend. And so Monday morning, we started blocking off the front patio area and had some concerns from some of the citizens that we were trying to limit the protesters from getting on the front patio. But when the big lifts arrived, that kind of smoothed everything over pretty good. Yes, we'd already planned to do this, guys. We actually had a protester out there yesterday morning with a megaphone protesting, and he was very cooperative. He understood. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Bernard. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jeff. All approve, say aye.
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 Disapprove? Motion carries. Thank you all.
Y'all have a good week.